I always thought my intense reactions and fear of commitment were just who I was. It was a part of my personality. It took a tiny, insignificant setback, a friend canceling plans, to send me into a 3-day meltdown for me to finally see the truth. My past was still pulling the strings, and I had absolutely no idea. That moment of disproportionate despair was the first thread I pulled, and it unraveled a story that started long before I had the words for it. That experience forced me to ask a terrifying question. What if the emotions I thought were mine were actually just echoes from the past? In this video, we're going to explore 6 signs that your childhood trauma is still controlling your emotions, even if you don't think you've experienced big T trauma. We now know that adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs, can range from overt abuse to more subtle forms of emotional neglect, like having your feelings consistently dismissed. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of your own emotional patterns. Most importantly, you'll know that you are not broken, and you are not alone. Recognizing these patterns is the first and most powerful step toward reclaiming your present. Sign number 1. You have disproportionate emotional reactions. The first sign, and the one that kicked off my own journey, is having emotional reactions that feel way too big for the situation. This was the biggest one for me. That canceled coffee plan? It shouldn't have been a big deal, but it triggered a tidal wave of shame, abandonment, and a feeling of complete worthlessness that lasted for days. It felt like the world was ending, and I couldn't figure out why. This is a classic sign of unresolved trauma. When kids grow up in environments where their feelings are dismissed or punished, they don't learn how to regulate their own emotions. Your brain's alarm system, the amygdala, gets stuck in the own position, while the logical part of your brain goes offline. As an adult, this means any perceived rejection, no matter how small, can feel like a 5-alarm fire. It's not just big meltdowns. It might be a slightly critical email from your boss that leaves you with a sense of dread for the rest of the day. You're not just reacting to the present, you're having what therapist Pete Walker calls an emotional flashback, where the intense feelings of helplessness or fear from the past flood your present reality. A healing step you can take is to simply start naming what's happening. When you feel that wave rising, pause and tell yourself, I am having an emotional flashback. The simple act creates a little bit of space between you and the overwhelming feeling. It's a reminder that while the feeling is real, the immediate danger isn't. Journaling about these moments can also be incredibly powerful, as it helps you release suppressed feelings and start connecting the dots between the trigger and the trauma. Sign number 2, you fear attachment and relationships. Next up, a deep, often subconscious fear of attachment. This can show up in 2 opposite ways. You might push everyone away, terrified of commitment and finding reasons to end relationships before they get too serious. Or you might cling desperately, terrified of being abandoned and needing constant reassurance. Attachment theory explains that our earliest bonds with caregivers create a blueprint for all our future relationships. If our caregivers were a source of fear or unpredictability, we learn that the people who are supposed to be our safe harbor are actually dangerous. This creates an insecure or disorganized attachment style. As adults, we carry this blueprint with us. We either avoid intimacy to prevent any possibility of pain, or we become consumed by the fear of our partner leaving Hushin. Many survivors feel fundamentally unworthy of love, which just continues the cycle of isolation. To start healing this, focus on building secure connections gradually. Start outside of romance. Opening up to a trusted friend or joining a support group can show your nervous system that vulnerability doesn't always lead to pain. You can also use therapy, like cognitive behavioral therapy, to identify and challenge core beliefs like I'm unworthy or everyone will leave. It's about gently proving your past predictions wrong, one safe connection at a time. Sign number 3, you carry persistent shame or guilt. Sign number 3 is a chronic, lingering feeling of shame or guilt that seems to stick to you like a shadow. It's the sense that you are fundamentally flawed, bad, or that something is deeply wrong with you. This isn't about feeling guilty for something you actually did wrong. This is a toxic shame that often has no logical source in your adult life. The why behind this is heartbreakingly simple. A child's brain will do anything to make sure their caregivers are good and their world is safe. When a child is hurt or neglected, their mind can't make sense of the idea that the people they depend on for survival are the source of their pain. So, the child internalizes the blame. They conclude, it must be my fault. I'm bad. This belief, formed to survive an impossible situation, gets cemented into their personality, leading to a lifetime of low self-esteem and a harsh inner critic. Research on attachment theory shows how our earliest bonds create a blueprint for how we see ourselves as adults. If that blueprint was drawn with shame, everything gets filtered through that lens. A powerful tool to fight shame is the unsent letter. Write a letter to the person who hurt you, pouring out all the pain you were never allowed to feel. You don't have to send it. You can burn it afterward as a symbol of release. Another practice is using targeted affirmations to fight your inner critic. Don't just think positive. Look in the mirror and state the truth. It was not my fault. I was a child. I deserved to be protected. This is how you begin to reparent yourself with compassion. Sign number 4, you have profound difficulty trusting others. The 4th sign is a deep and reactive difficulty with trust. When your trust is broken by the very people who were supposed to protect you, your brain learns a powerful lesson. The world is a dangerous place. This often shows up as a general suspicion, even when there's no logical reason for it. You might find yourself doubting your friends' or partner's intentions, always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Or you might avoid vulnerability completely, keeping everyone at arm's length so you can never be betrayed again. For me, it was being unable to accept a compliment without immediately wondering what that person wanted from me. It's an exhausting, hypervigilant way to live. This isn't a conscious choice. It's a survival mechanism. Your nervous system is hardwired to scan for threats, and after trauma, it can get stuck in the on position. This causes you to see danger even in safe situations, and can make you perceive others as threatening even when they are not, which shows just how deep this reactive mistrust can run. To heal, the goal isn't blind trust, but discerning trust. Start small by sharing low-stakes thoughts with a person you have reason to believe is safe. Pay attention to how your body feels and how they react. Each positive interaction is new data for your nervous system. Therapies like internal family systems are also transformative. It helps you communicate with the protector parts of yourself that fear betrayal, reassuring them that the adult you is now in charge of keeping you safe. Sign number 5, you experience extreme mood swings or dissociation. Sign number 5 covers 2 sides of the same coin, being flooded with too much feeling through extreme mood swings, or feeling nothing at all through dissociation. Dissociation, on the other hand, is that feeling of zoning out or disconnecting from your body, your feelings, or reality. It can feel like you're watching your life from outside yourself, or like everything seems foggy and unreal. You might have memory gaps, or just feel emotionally numb, as if you're escaping into an internal world to feel safe. These experiences happen because trauma gets stored in the body, not just in the storytelling part of our brain. Unprocessed traumatic memories are fragmented and can be set off by sensory information. A smell, a song, a tone of voice that's unconsciously linked to the original trauma. When a trigger hits, the emotional part of your brain lights up, and you're flooded with feelings from the past, even if you don't have a conscious memory of the event. A vital in-the-moment tool for this is grounding. and the 5-4-3-2-1 technique is perfect. When you feel yourself spiraling or detaching, pause and name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This sensory exercise pulls your brain out of the past and into the present, sending a powerful signal to your nervous system that you are safe right now. Sign number 6. You are chronically hypervigilant or have childish outbursts. The final sign is being in a constant state of hypervigilance or regressing into childish outbursts under stress. Hypervigilance is being perpetually on edge, always scanning your environment for threats, and being easily startled. Childish outbursts are a form of emotional regression. When faced with a stressor that feels overwhelming, an adult might revert to a coping mechanism from their childhood, like having a tantrum, going stubbornly silent, or even whining. This happens because chronic childhood stress can damage the brain's developing connections, making it harder to use mature coping strategies when we feel overwhelmed. We just default back to the only protective modes we knew as kids. These are not character flaws, they are logical adaptations of a nervous system that learned it had to be on constant alert to survive. Your body is still trying to protect you from a danger that is long gone. For a nervous system stuck in overdrive, practices like mindfulness and yoga are powerful tools. They teach you to notice your physical sensations and thoughts without judgment, and to use your breath to soothe your body's alarm system. Another profound outlet is art therapy. It allows you to express feelings of fear and powerlessness that are stored in your body, giving the younger part of you a voice without needing words. If you recognized yourself in any of these signs, please hear this: it is not your fault. These are not signs that you are broken or too much. They are survival mechanisms your brilliant young mind developed to get you through an unbearable time. Your reactions make perfect sense given what you went through. And here's the most important part. Just because your past has shaped you, it doesn't have to define your future. The fact that you're here, watching this and seeking answers, means you've already taken the bravest step toward healing. Recognizing these patterns is how you begin to take their power away. You start to see them not as who you are, but as what happened to you. Healing is a journey, not a destination, and it's one you don't have to walk alone. If this video was helpful, I've made another one on the 3 first steps to healing childhood trauma that you can watch right here. It's a practical guide for what comes next. I'd be honored if you'd subscribe and join our community. Let me know in the comments which of these signs resonated with you the most. Sharing your story, even just a small piece of it, can be a profoundly validating act, and it lets others know they aren't alone. Your story matters. Be gentle with yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.